Good morning. Wow. Buenos dias. Welcome to the 16th annual Symposium in support of service members, veterans, and their families. By my calculation, 16 years, that means that technically the symposium is allowed to drive, right? But it doesn't. It just leaves us to continue to do all the work. I don't know if that makes all the sense in the world, but okay. And also, at 16 years, I think that makes us a very experienced event, if you will. And so this is kind of a veterans event. Does that work? Okay, yeah. That's probably the smartest thing I'm going to say all day, so, you know. Okay, my name is Thomas Winkel. I am the director of the Arizona Coalition for Military Families. I am a United States Marine. I served in Operation Desert Shield, Desert Storm as a combat infantryman, and I'm very excited to be your MC today. Today's opening ceremony will consist of the color guard from Luke Air Force Base. The national anthem will be sung by Garland Miller. 16 years in a row, we're going to get to hear his wonderful voice again. The invocation will be by Captain Daniel Starr of Luke Air Force Base, and we actually have a Rabbi Emmanuel Shimonov, who is also going to do a blessing for us. And we have a tribal blessing by Dino Haley, medicine man from the Navajo Nation. Present colors.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Good morning, everyone. Please, if you'd like, join with me in prayer. Heavenly Father, we come together today as partners in a shared mission to serve those who have served and to stand beside those who carry the weight of that calling. Bless this coalition and the work before us. In a world of many systems and scattered support, make our coordinated force for good woven together with compassion and commitment. unite public and private hands in shared purpose that no service member, no veteran, no family falls through the gaps between good intentions. As we build networks across this state, let them not be lines on a map, but lifelines of trust and lasting support. May all we do here move people from surviving to thriving, from isolation to connection, from uncertainty to stability. In your holy name we pray. Amen.
Almighty God, we stand before you today as servants of our nation and guardians of human life. We gather across borders, cultures, and languages, united by a shared sense of duty and responsibility. Grant wisdom to those entrusted with command, discernment to those who plan, and courage to those who carry out the mission. May every decision be guided by righteousness and the sanctity of life. Spread your shelter of peace over all who serve on land, at sea, in the air, and in the distant places unseen. Protect them and return them home in safety. Strengthen their families whose sacrifice and resilience sustain this sacred work. May our efforts help bring stability and advance a world where nations no longer lift sword against nation. And let us say, Amen.
Yet Edo should the net honor sodo Bakian Cindy Aqua DJ. It's good to be here today. Thank you, everybody, for allowing me to be here. The coalition, service members, active veterans, family members. It's a pleasure to be here. Being able to provide a communication. We refer to the holy people from this earth to the universe and all living beings. So it's a pleasure to be here. My name is Dino Haley, and I come from the Diné Nation. And being mentioned as a medicine man, my great auntie gave me that title in a Hogan up where we come from in White Ruins. And ever since then, being able to hold that title, those prayers, those songs, and to extend it, I work at the Phoenix VA and extend it to our veterans and active members and families. So I'm going to go ahead and do a short offering for that. Real quick story. My auntie, gave me this prayer robe, and it's a custom to use it in this fashion for veterans. And this is a veteran's tool, this 12-tail eagle feather. They said it's a military tool to use for blessings for our male warriors when they go out, make enemy contact, even training, and then returning home. That's the important piece. So we honor that blessing for all active, wherever they're all at, veterans who have returned, that we honor that peacefulness, and family members' protection. So there's always provision for them. So my auntie, real quick short story if I can. She passed, and going through her things, we found a cassette tape in the 90s. We played that tape, and she explained that she was on this big boat in this huge water for days. And she ended up in a country where she didn't know the language. And it was foreign from English. And of course, she didn't speak English. And we found out that she served in the Navy, World War II. I guess she went to Germany. And that's a lot of our culture, Not too much expression of what they did, but it's just returning home and providing that honor and that peace. So again, we think about it that way. She's the one that gave me this. And I see it today as a tool to reach out and continue these blessings. So I'm going to go ahead and use my language briefly. There's a real quick story, too, about that eagle that we use on top of that flag. Again, it's an expression of this tool that we use, that we continue on in that way, that blessing, that spirit of strength, bold courage, and faith. Snatchin tskotsel doko slit benskat na otelich ola shiche hashit de hashe hawa konte a teacher the Arizona Coalition for Active Members, Veterans, and Family, the blessed ashon each and every one here. Their thoughts, those that couldn't make it as well, active members time this moment, wherever they're at. Maybe one is in need of a outreach, a hug, maybe to wipe their tears, or appreciation or thankfulness to them actively, wherever they're at this time, this moment. We think about them. And our veterans, too, that are among us today, that we work with and serve. We ask that you take care of them, touch their mind, soul, spirit. A peacefulness that we keep talking about for them. So they're at calm and feel good about themselves and what they've done. Auto a family members, spouse, parents, grandparents, children. So blessed each and one of us. Or those of us that work with veterans as well. Everybody here, however they made it to be here time this moment. And to all the special people that got this, again, 16th annual Symposium Coalition. We appreciate that, everybody here. So all the speakers and presenters, service people that are here providing comfort. So blessed. As a family, they say that family is the number one healing property. So we extend that healing property to us today to feel good and feel honored, respected, and valued. Bakihensen doles kudo eya bakihensen atilish ashon de konde the end the so bakihensen konde was on the husly Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you for your service.
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 You are worth it. I haven't been in the military for very long, but I feel inspired every day by my family and my mentors, and it's just a really great experience.
You were worth it. As a senior in high school on 9/11, I knew that it was my duty and responsibility to serve this nation. And as a combat medic, it was my honor to represent our entire community and serve not only our soldiers, but the place that we were.
Thank you. You were worth it. My grandmother instilled in me growing up to serve your country, and that's one of the main duties. Make sure everyone's returns home safe. That's the main priority, home. Everyone needs to get home.
You were worth it. I also like to say thank you for your support. What we do in the military as service members, as spouses, family members, and even advocators, we couldn't do what we do without support.
You were worth it. We protected our country, we protected you, we protected our freedoms, and it was the right thing to do at the right time, and I'd do it again.
It's an honor to be a commissioned officer. It's an honor to lead. It's a privilege to lead. And it's a big responsibility. I swore an oath to defend the Constitution against all enemies, foreign and domestic. And I didn't do it alone. I did it with a team.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you for your service. Yeah.
You are worth it.
You were worth it.
You were worth it.
You were worth it.
You were worth it.
I love that video. Pretty cool, right? Yeah. All right. So I wanted to thank the chaplain, the rabbi, much appreciated. The blessing that we received from Dino, so thankful for all of this. It's another example of us all being able to come together for one particular purpose. All right. So everyone in here is special. I'd like to recognize a few guests, if I may. We have representatives from the Governor's Office and the Governor's Office of Youth, Faith, and Family. We have representatives from the Office of Senator Kelly, Senator Gallego, Representatives Siskamani, Hamadeh, Ansari, and Grijalva. We appreciate all of your office's tireless work to work together on behalf of our nation's veterans. I'd like to thank Bobby Ann Baldwin. She is the Executive Director of Navajo Nation's Veterans Administration. Yeah, Bobby. Commissioners from the Arizona Department of Veterans Services. We'd also like to welcome colleagues from other states. David Puente, he's the Director of the Washington Department of Veterans Services. Glad you're here. We also have North Carolina in the house. Addie Emes and Vaughn Upshaw from the University of North Carolina. They've been working with their governor's challenge team, and they're out here checking things out and seeing what's possible. So it's very wonderful to have you all as well. Where are you? Wave your hands. There you are, right in the back. Okay. Yeah. Go talk to them. They want to hear more about Arizona and what you all and what your experience is. We also have Colonel Paul Aguirre, retired. Paul, where are you at? There you are. A great man. He's doing all sorts of good things, and you're going to hear from him tomorrow. 33 years, United States military, I believe. And this year is a little bit different. We actually have some of my family here. We have my very favorite mother-in-law. She's the best. The only one I've ever had. I didn't need another mother-in-law, so I just kept that one. That's Vicky Wee, my two absolutely amazing super boys, Jacob and Elias. Super guapo in their suits, right? Yeah, super guapo. And their great auntie and Vicky's sister from Nashville, Helen Tate Anamani, her granddaughter. And here's the deal, folks. Yes, please come and talk to them. And no, they don't have any stories about me. None exist, because I am very straight-laced. All right. We'd also like to recognize our sponsors who help make this day possible. First, our title sponsor, the Arizona Department of Veterans Services. That is 16 years in a row. You have been our title sponsor. Thank you very much. Our presenting sponsors, Tri-West Healthcare Alliance and the Governor's Office of Youth, Faith, and Family, Awesome, awesome. Our partner sponsors, Governor's Council on Spinal and Head Injuries, Mercy Care, Banner University Family Care, SRP, Axiom Care, and Axiom Community of Recovery, and all of our supporting sponsors. Thank each and every one of you. Without you all, this is not a possible event, so we appreciate you immensely. We also have an amazing team. Our planning team puts this all together. It takes them an entire year. It is massive. It is a massive undertaking to coordinate all of this, and it is even a bigger undertaking to try to coordinate me. So they do an amazing job. Thank you very much. We also have all of our volunteers. They're here just helping out and being in the rooms. Please feel free to check in with them at any point. We have all our wonderful exhibitors. You guys are amazing. You are hand-selected. We want each and every one of you, and each one of you is a network partner, and so thank you for that. And we have over 70 different speakers from pretty much every walk of life and every area that you can possibly imagine. And I just saw Stacy Travers, who is one of our representatives, in our wonderful state. Yes, so thank you. Stacy, you snuck in under the wire again. She's very good at that. Army, right? Yes, I mean, you know, yeah. All right. A couple of years ago, I made a tremendous error, and I have been apologizing for it since. I made an error in stating that the director of the Governor's Office of Youth, Faith, and Family was our oldest partner. What I realize now is that what I should have said is that Director Hamilton is one of our OG, our original partners, right? And I wanted to show a picture that we have. This is dating back to 2010. The picture is really quite dark, actually. This was the most light that we had from the camera because they locked us in a basement for 3 days and made us come up with a strategic plan. Am I lying? No, I'm not. So one of the things that, but I was like, okay, we have a longer history than that, right? And so one of the things that I started looking into our archives, I actually found one of those old glass plates of an original copy of the original team, and I don't even know what date it was, but here's that picture. So, ladies and gentlemen, Tanya Hamilton is the director of the Tribal Liaison for Arizona Governor's Office of Youth, Faith, and Family. She was brought into this world at Luke Air Force Base and is now one of their honorary commanders, which is a pretty cool transition, right? She brings nearly 30 years of Arizona public service experience and a deep commitment to all of our service members, veterans, and their families, and truly all populations within the state. Tanya?
All right, so unfortunately, Governor Hobbs could not be with us today, but I have the distinct honor to say a few words about her. As many know, Governor Hobbs is a proud Arizona native who has spent her life showing up for others. From a young age, she learned the value of service, and she carried that with her as she worked her way through college and began her career as a social worker, serving youth experiencing homelessness right here in Phoenix. She later helped lead one of the largest domestic violence shelters in the country, always focused on supporting those who need it most. These experiences gave her a behind-the-scene view of what our citizens were facing daily and how the government should work better for people. So she stepped up to serve. In 2010, she was elected to the Arizona legislature, where she served 4 terms, earned a reputation for working across the aisle to get things done. As Secretary of State, she upheld the integrity of our elections during the critical time for our democracy. And in 2022, the people of Arizona elected her to serve as governor. Today, Governor Hobbs leads with the same mindset of service. She is focused on making people's lives better, whether that is expanding economic opportunity, addressing housing, or securing our water future. And at the heart of it all is a simple belief that every Arizonan deserves a chance to thrive. While she is not able to be with us in person today, she wanted to make sure she could still be part of this important gathering. Please turn your attention to the screen for a special video message from Governor of the great state of Arizona, Katie Hobbs.
Hi, it's Governor Katie Hobbs.
Thank you for being a part of the Arizona Coalition for Military Families' 16th Annual Statewide Symposium in support of service members, veterans, and their families. Your presence here today reflects the continued commitment of people across Arizona who work every day to strengthen support for those who have served our country and the families who serve alongside them. Together, you represent a powerful statewide network committed to the well-being of Arizona's military and veteran community. This symposium represents something Arizona does exceptionally well, bringing together leaders from federal, state, and local governments, along with nonprofits, healthcare, education, and the private sector to work toward a shared goal. When public and private partners align around a common mission, we build stronger systems and better outcomes for the people we serve. Arizona is proud to be a military and veteran-friendly state, and we remain committed to supporting the well-being of this important community of Arizonans. That commitment is reflected across many areas of life, from the Purple Star Schools bill I signed supporting military-connected students, to my housing initiatives like Homes for Heroes, to workforce partnerships that connect veterans to meaningful careers. Across healthcare, wellness, and family and community support, Arizona continues to strengthen the systems that help military and veteran families thrive. Our state is leading the way nationally in coordinated approaches to upstream suicide prevention and postvention support. One example is Arizona's statewide veteran suicide mortality review effort, which brings partners together to learn from lives lost and strengthen our prevention strategies. By working across agencies and organizations, Arizona is turning these insights into action to better support service members, veterans, and their families. At the center of these efforts is the Be Connected support line, serving as Arizona's hub for how service members, veterans, and their families can access coordinated, trusted support. This is such an important aspect of upstream prevention because it helps ensure that when someone reaches out, they are met with guidance, understanding, and a clear path forward. Through warm handoffs and connections to trusted partners across the state, the support line helps ease the burden during difficult moments and ensures people are not left to navigate complex systems alone. Arizona has built a model that many states are still working toward. What makes this approach especially important is our commitment to reaching veterans and families in every corner of our state. From our urban communities to rural and tribal communities, Be Connected helps ensure that support is accessible, coordinated, and grounded in trusted local partnerships. It is a model that reflects Arizona's commitment to ensuring that no matter where someone lives, support is within reach. I want to take this opportunity to thank you for dedicating your time and energy to this mission every day. Your commitment, collaboration, and leadership make a lasting difference for service members, veterans, and their families across Arizona. Thank you for your continued partnership and for being a part of this important work.
All righty. Thank you, Governor Hobbs. So just a couple of words about the Governor's Office of Youth, Faith, and Family. First and foremost, yes, thank you for the shout out, Thomas, but I'd like to shout out my team specifically, and that will be my two deputies that are here with me today, Deputy Conrad Lindo, Deputy Ann Carver. Stand up, please. My AmeriCorps Director, Emily Litchfield, my Workforce Development Program Administrator, Anthony Amesquita, and then Sergeant First Class Deb LaFon, that is vetted with us from the National Guard. She's here today as well. So you're not gonna stand? Stand, girl, stand. And I have them stand because I want you to put eyes on the people since we're not out here in the exhibit space, but you see our card in your bags that you can find something around the office that you might be interested in. And then for those that don't know our office, the Governor's Office of Youth, Faith, and Family, we are a grant-making, grant-writing office that works upstream around prevention, education, and awareness, domestic violence, the issues of domestic violence, human trafficking, juvenile justice, substance abuse, education. We are the AmeriCorps office. We are the faith-based office. We work all things veterans. And then in addition to that, we oversee 9 of the governor's councils and commissions. So I will say it's always a pleasure to be here, to be an ongoing supporter in kind and or financial, so this event can take place. And as Thomas mentioned, I am the daughter of a Vietnam veteran, born at Luke Air Force Base, very proud. My dad's 91, my parents been married 58 years. I see that my sister just walked in here, and I too am very proud, and I know I stand on the shoulders of giants when I say that it's with each of us that we need to collaborate and work to make things better for each other. It can't be a government role. It can't just be one nonprofit. We can't work in silos. If anything, Be Connected has taught us that we must work together to further all successes and make sure the mission is complete, and that is resources and opportunities for everyone out here. So thank you so much for those who have served. Thank you for your spouses and your dependents that served with you, and I'm looking forward to a wonderful next 2 days. Thank you.
Tanya Hamilton, folks, thank you. All right, before I introduce our next speaker, I wanted to say that there's an individual in the audience that I would like to just pay special reverence and respect for. His name is Leroy Petrie. He is with the Iraq 75th Ranger Unit, and he is a Medal of Honor recipient. Semper Fidelis. I know that's mine, but it's yours too, and I mean it. All right. Thank you, Tanya. Always appreciated. Great words. Thank you, Governor Hobbs. Support's been amazing. All right, now I'd like to introduce John Scott, who serves as the director of the Arizona Department of Veterans Services, a fellow Marine Corps veteran, and longtime advocate for Arizona's veteran community. He has served with Arizona Department of Veterans Services since 2015. He's gone through lots of things to make that department absolutely amazing, and it is. And he has also come out of the veteran homeless community, being the director of U.S. Vets Phoenix. John.
Good morning. Distinguished guests, community leaders, partners, and most importantly, those who've served and those who are serving. First, I want to extend my sincere gratitude to the incredible team at the Arizona Coalition for Military Families for bringing us together for the 2026 Statewide Symposium in support of service members, veterans, and their families. This gathering right here in Phoenix is more than just a symposium. It's a mission brief. Over the next 2 days, across dozens of sessions and conversations, we're doing something powerful, strengthening how we serve more than 500,000 service members, their families across Arizona. And let me just say, this is one of the few rooms where networking doesn't just mean awkward small talk. It means solving real problems, saving lives, and building systems that actually work. Now, I know we have pretty much every branch represented here today, so let me tread very carefully. To my Army friends, thank you for keeping things simple and effective. To the Air Force, thank you for reminding us that there's always a better hotel option. To the Navy, thank you for proving you can deploy anywhere as long as it floats. To the Marines, thank you for your discipline, your grit, and for reminding us that crayons come in more than just red. To the Coast Guard,
Thank you for being the only branch that can save your life, tow your boat, and still remind you that you should have checked the weather app before you headed out. To the Space Force, thank you for looking up one day and saying, you know, I think we're going to need a bigger office. And to our veterans, thank you for your service and for reminding us all that no matter how hard today is, at least no one is making you do PT at 5 a.m. anymore. Amen. But in all seriousness, this symposium exists for a reason. The Arizona Coalition for Military Families was built on a simple but powerful idea. We are stronger when we work together. Because the truth is, no single agency, no single nonprofit, no single program can meet the needs of every veteran or every family. That's why we work in this coordination, through collaboration, and collective impact, ensuring there is no wrong door and no wrong person when somebody needs help. Because while we gather here today, there are still veterans across our state that are facing real challenges. Veterans battling isolation and mental health struggles, families navigating transitions, employment and financial instability, service members coming home and struggling to find their place, and yes, too many veterans still experiencing homelessness. These are not abstract issues. These are our neighbors. These are our clients, our brothers, and our sisters. And here's the hard truth. We don't have a resource problem nearly as much as we have a connection problem. Too often, help exists, but it's not reaching the person who needs it at the moment that they need it. That's why what we do matters. Every one of you here, whether you're in healthcare, housing, behavioral health, employment services, education, or community outreach, you are part of the same mission. Different uniforms, same mission. And if there's one thing that the military teaches us, it's no one wins alone. You don't send one unit in to fight and hope for the best. You coordinate, you communicate, and you operate as a team. That's exactly what this symposium does. 12 tracks, dozens of sessions, hundreds of professionals, not just learning, but aligning. Now, I know the work you can do and that you do can be heavy. You hear difficult stories. You carry real responsibility. And some days it feels like progress is too slow. But let me offer you this perspective. Every time you answer a call, every time you connect someone to a resource, every time you take the extra 5 minutes to listen, you are changing trajectory. You may not always see it, but it matters. And if you've ever wondered whether your work makes a difference, just remember, veterans don't forget who showed up for them. And let's be honest, if you've ever tried to coordinate services across multiple agencies, you've probably felt like you're in a joint operation with no radio, no map, and somebody yelling, "Have you tried turning it off and on again?" True story. But that's why we're here. So next time, we're not guessing, we're connected. Now, I want to talk about something that requires all of us right now, ending veteran homelessness. Not reducing it, not managing it, ending it. Because if there's one thing that we should all agree upon, it's this. A person who served this country should never sleep on the streets. And yet, we know it still happens. It still happens. It's crazy. But here's what gives me hope. We have solutions and we have ways that we can solve it. We've seen communities do it. We have tools. We have housing programs, supportive services, and partnerships. What we need is alignment, urgency, and accountability. So here's my challenge to every one of you in this room today. Break down silos. Share information faster. Build stronger referral pathways. And refuse to let anyone fall through the cracks. Because ending veteran homelessness is not one organization's job. It is our mission. The model here in Arizona is nationally recognized for a reason. It works. Because it doesn't rely on one hero. It builds a system where everybody plays a role. From first responders to clinicians, from employers to educators, from faith leaders to volunteers. This is what collective impact looks like. And when it works right, it saves lives before crisis ever happens. At the conclusion of my speech, I will be introducing a new tool that is going to help end homelessness for veterans in Arizona. So I'm giving you a pre-warning now. Please have your phones ready because there's going to be a QR code and I'm going to need you all to snap a picture of it. So as we go through this symposium, I ask you to do 3 things. Learn something new, meet someone you didn't know before, and commit to one action you will take home when you leave from here. Because information's good, but action is what changes life. I'll leave you with this. In the Marine Corps, we used to say, embrace the suck. But what we're doing here, this isn't embracing hardship. It's about eliminating it for others. And if we do this right, the only thing veterans will have to complain about is when the only coffee option comes in the decaf variety. So let's move forward together, one mission, one team, one commitment, to ensure that every service member, every veteran, and every family in Arizona has the support that they've earned and deserve. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for being here. And now I'd like to show you a brief video about our newest venture and give you the opportunity to pre-register as a user. I talked about connection, and I'm hoping that you guys are excited to see this video because I sure am.
Hi everyone, my name is Emma and I'm on the team at Civic Roundtable. We're so excited to be here with you at the 2026 Symposium in support of service members, veterans, and their families. What you're about to see is a platform we've been building out in partnership with DVS, designed specifically to support the people doing frontline coordination work for the unhoused. Case managers, outreach staff, program coordinators will now all have an entire ecosystem built for them at their fingertips to get in touch with the right people with the right information at the right time. Think of Civic Roundtable as a coordination hub. It's one place where your network can stay connected between meetings, share resources, ask questions, and actually hear back, without everyone needing to log in to participate or be on a long email chain to hear back from one another. When someone posts an urgent bed request, you don't have to wait for people to check their dashboards. They'll get a notification right to their inbox, and you can house and find a bed for a veteran in need. The Homes for Heroes space hosted on Civic Roundtable bring together over 150 service providers across the state to coordinate in one place. Civic Roundtable is equipped with a suite of features tailored specifically to people who do work in the public sector. On Roundtable, you'll find an AI feature that surfaces resources instantly, a resource library that's built to withstand the test of time and turnover among staff, and a feed and member directory filled with all of your fellow service providers who can help you find resources and connect on any pressing issues. If you want in, scan the QR code in your materials today or up on the screen. You'll get a link to request access, and we will get you set up and let into the space in May. We are just one piece of this puzzle, but we're built to amplify the work you're already doing. We're excited to see what you accomplish on Civic Roundtable.
So a little bit about Civic Roundtable and kind of how we got here. As I was working with our Homes for Heroes team, and I see Steve and some of our folks from the team, can you guys raise your hands? All right, Dan. So we knew that there was resources in this state, and we knew that there was oftentimes issues connecting people to those resources. I think the latest number I got was our team has discovered over 730 resources for veterans in the state of Arizona. 730. That is a lot of resources. So it told me that we have a connection problem. We have a communication problem. This is where Civic Roundtable is going to come in. It's going to provide you all the opportunity to work with each other, to cross-reference resources, to add resources to make our database more robust as we vet those resources to our veterans. And this is going to come at absolutely zero cost to you. DVS will be paying for all of the seats for registered members. So the hope is that we'll build up to about 125, 150 folks that are going to be a part of kind of the initial push. And then once we get kind of all the bugs fixed out, we'll start opening up for additional membership statewide. The hope is that we can all be connected like that. And if we can do that, we are going to end homelessness here in the state of Arizona. Thank you.
Thank you, John. That was awesome. It's exciting. We've seen a ton of platforms come through, a ton of different technical solutions. This is the first one that we've been like, okay, that's good. There's hope with this one, and we're really excited about it. All right, so we have a great relationship with Arizona's congressional delegation. Each member of the congressional delegation knows Be Connected, understands what we're trying to do, and more importantly, supports it. This year, we are proud to have a video from Representative Juan Ciscomani, who serves on both the Veterans Affairs and the Appropriations Committee. So he's a real pivotal individual, and he has been working tirelessly to ensure that veterans are being well taken care of. Take it away, Mr. Video.
Hello to everyone at this year's Arizona Coalition for Military Family Symposium. This is Congressman Juan Ciscomani here, proudly representing Arizona's 6th District here in Congress. Now, unfortunately, I'm unable to be with you in person this year, but I wanted to take a moment to thank you all for inviting me to join you. Now, for my first day in office, I've been committed to being a champion on issues and find solutions for our veterans. Nearly about 80,000 veterans in Arizona's 6th Congressional District. This makes it the 9th largest veteran population in the entire country. So I'm proud to serve on the Veteran Affairs Committee to deliver solutions that directly impacts our veterans there at home as well. Now, on top of that, I'm also the only member in the Arizona delegation to be on the Appropriations Committee. So I have the opportunity to serve both the policy area and also the funding and resource area for our veterans. In my time in office, I've led a total of 8 veterans-focused bills that have passed the House. 4 of these bills have passed within the last year and helped to expand the GI Bill eligibility, support access to health care and employment options for rural veterans, and also improve eligibility and access for survivor benefits. Now, my most recent veterans-focused bills are some of these. For example, the Vets Opportunity Act modernizes the GI Bill, expanding access to educational opportunities and ensuring the fair treatment of student veterans, National Guardsmen, and reservists as well. Another bill is bipartisan legislation to improve the VA's Veteran Readiness and Employment Program, so veterans with service-connected disabilities have better access to job training and counseling as they transition to civilian life. And also introduce legislation to help our rural veterans get faster access to disability exams and benefits, no matter where they live. In addition to legislation, my team has returned over $7 million to just veterans across our district through important casework. So our veterans served they served our nation, they continue to serve our nation in many ways, and they'll keep working to make sure the system serves you as well. To all veterans attending this year's conference and this year's symposium, thank you for your service. Thank you for your sacrifice. Your sacrifice, the one that you've made for our nation, the one that your families have made for our nation as well, will always be remembered. To all the service providers, thank you as well for the important work that you do across our great state. I am honored to serve you and will continue to work every single day to introduce legislation and pass this legislation that directly supports you. Thank you, and God bless.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for being here. I'm Nicola Winkel, Project Director for the Arizona Coalition for Military Families. And every year, as I look out across this room, I'm always grateful for the opportunity to gather together and for what all of you represent. The collective effort, compassion, and commitment in this space is incredible. Each of you brings to this room stories, connections, and impact from your organizations and communities. And for the next 2 days, we have something rare, the chance to pause, to step out of the urgency of daily work, to learn, to connect, and to strengthen how we show up for service members, veterans, and their families. So truly, thank you for being here. Lately, as a coalition, and alongside many of you, we've been focused on an important question. How do we reach the people who need us most? Because the truth is, we don't always know what someone is carrying. Every day, we pass people who are quietly struggling, and others who seem okay, but may be at very high risk. And while we've made real progress, there is more awareness than ever about benefits, care, and support. There are still people we are not reaching. So we have to ask, are we speaking the right language? So how many of you have spent time around kids or teenagers in the last year? Like, what comes to mind if I do this? Then you know there's a whole new language out there. So for example, if you wanted to explain that a friend was going through a hard time and needed some support, in Gen Alpha speak, that may sound something like this. And I'll apologize in advance to my children for being cringe. She's falling off. We need to lock in and help. He's literally glitching, twin. Their vibes are low-key cooked. He's losing his aura. We gotta check the hidden lore. She's unsubscribing from the group chat. No cap. Bro is in his flop era. Someone needs to buff him. The main character energy is gone. He's giving NPC. Their social battery is at 0%. They're about to ghost reality. And we need to patch the squad. The vibes are Ohio. All right? So we might call it a wellness check or a crisis intervention to address suicidality, but to a friend noticing a peer is withdrawing, it sounds like checking the hidden lore because they've unsubscribed from the group. So by translating our resources into the language people actually speak, we may have a better opportunity to reach them. And across the network, we're trying to do exactly that, testing, learning, trying new approaches to reach those who might otherwise remain disconnected. Our Veteran Suicide Mortality Review team continues to meet monthly, reviewing cases, identifying patterns, and turning those insights into action. One example, we found that at about half of the cases reviewed, there was known marijuana use. So we asked, where are these veterans? And we began reaching out to licensed marijuana dispensaries, which responded wholeheartedly that they want to be a part of reaching out to veterans. We're developing messaging that meets veterans in those spaces, especially those who may not be connected to traditional healthcare or services. We're working with Early Alert on a VA-funded project that provides low-pressure, supportive text messaging, simple check-ins that open the door to connection. We're also expanding outreach through everyday touchpoints. Be Connected is partnering with Valley Metro, bringing connection and support into public transit spaces. Soon, these signs will be on the emergency call boxes at light rail stations throughout the Phoenix metro area. Yeah, it's pretty exciting. And through Be Connected communities and our academy process, local teams across Arizona are designing and leading innovative grassroots efforts to reach those at highest risk. There's one more group I want to highlight because they are often overlooked but critically important: family members of all kinds. One of the key recommendations from our first year of the Veteran Suicide Mortality Review was to strengthen support for families, because family members are often the closest to someone who is struggling. They are the first to notice changes, the first to worry, and often the ones carrying the weight quietly. And they need our support too. Across Arizona, there are hundreds of thousands of family members walking alongside service members and veterans. And this year, we are continuing to build ways to support them, not only in helping their loved ones, but for them as individuals as well. So we're expanding our reach, we're building new pathways, we are showing up in new places. But that leads to the next question. Once we reach someone, what do we do? Yes, we assess needs. Yes, we connect to resources. But this work is more than systems and services. At its core, it is deeply human work. Often we are walking alongside people as they face long-standing pain, patterns, and ways of coping that have helped them survive. And real change can take time. In Rough Sleepers, Tracy Kidder shares the perspective of those serving individuals experiencing chronic homelessness. You just have to be there, and if need be, stand with them in the darkness. That image stays with me, not fixing, not rushing, but standing with someone, even in their hardest moments. Parker Palmer puts it this way: the human soul doesn't want to be advised or fixed or saved. It simply wants to be witnessed exactly as it is. And when we truly see people, when we bear witness to their full humanity, that is often where help begins. And finally, Maya Angelou reminds us, people will forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. And that is the power in this room. Collectively, all of us and the networks and communities we represent have the ability to make people feel seen, to make people feel heard, to remind them they are not alone. And in doing so, we can help them find a path forward. Thank you for everything you do and for the care you bring to this work every single day. I am honored to work alongside you. Thank you.
I tried to get her to do that clap thing, you know, where you clap and you make that real hard popping sound. She would not engage with me. So if you want to know how to do that, my son Jacob really knows how to do that well, and he'll make a pop that'll pop your ears. All right. Really appreciate our speakers, John, Tanya, Nicola. I want to talk to you about a word that you've already heard quite a lot today, but it's really important because I want to have a really solid orientation around it as we go forward to do the things that we need to do with housing and everything else. You ready for it? Collaboration. Ooh. It shows up on mission statements and on grant proposals and strategic plans and congressional testimony, and in more meetings than probably all of us not care to relive. And sometimes the word gets used so often that it starts to lose some of its weight. it eventually risks something called semantic erosion. United States Marine, semantic erosion. I just used it. Where a word is used so often that it starts to lose the depth of what it was supposed to mean. There's a lot of words out in the English language that are like that, including even in the hard sciences like physics. They have to stay alert to things like that are really important. Did you know that the physicists don't trust atoms anymore? I mean, it's pretty fundamental, right? But see, the problem is that they make up everything. Hey, how do you know a joke can be classified as a dad joke? When it's apparent. Ha! I'm killing it, boys. Look at this. All right, I'm done. That's all I got to say. Hey, but sometimes we make up a lot of language about collaboration too. We say things like cross-sector and integrated and whole of community and collective impact and even public-private partnership. Yeah, the triple P. You know me. But sounding collaborative and being collaborative are not the same thing, because real collaboration is not just about being in the same room. It's not about having all the, logos on a PowerPoint slide or being in a particular meeting or sharing things about what your organization is doing. I think sometimes it gets more confused with a thing that's pretty basic. It's called, in child development, a concept of parallel play. Toddlers are near each other. They may be using similar toys, but from a distance, it may even look like they're playing with each other, but they're actually not. They're not playing with each other at all. And so one organization can be having a complete meltdown, and another organization is perfectly fine and completely doesn't understand what in the heck's going on with it. They are not really interacting with each other, and I think a lot of adult systems, unfortunately, work that way. I believe that Arizona is different, but I believe that we've got a ways to go as well. We sit near each other and we talk out loud about what our organization. It is highly professional parallel play, which at the heart is a form of, anybody guess it? Siloization. It comes from our very roots as when we were growing up. We just haven't learned how to do it organizationally and systemically. It's okay. Collaboration is sharing responsibility for what people actually experience. That's my definition of it. It's not that I know what other organizations are doing. It's the shift from what we're doing to what the experience of the individuals are doing. It moves from proximity to ownership, from participation to accountability. We've all participated in things before, right? But are we accountable for those things? That's part of the beauty of Be Connected. It goes from good intentions to shared responsibility. We are all responsible for the service members, veterans, and their families in this state, and be able to provide them with a positive community. Collaboration is shared motion, shared responsibility in motion, shared responsibility in motion. I'll just let you ponder that one for a while. Shared responsibility in motion. I don't even fully know what that means yet, but it seemed right. It's moving forward together with responsibility. It's the decision to cross boundaries and share ownership and stay aligned long enough to produce something no one system could produce. And that is exactly what has happened with the Arizona Coalition for Military Families and Be Connected. It's amazing to have folks that have been with us for a long time. All of you out here. Many of you have been here years and years and years. You are contributing to this process. It's absolutely amazing. When we do this in our work, it means that there's something very practical is happening. That the person in need should not have to navigate our boundaries in order to receive support. That is what collaboration looks like when it becomes real. Because the people we serve, they don't care about our org chart, do they? They don't care about our funding streams or our processes, and they do not experience whether a problem belongs to one agency, nonprofit, a hospital, a state office, or a federal department. Either the support system makes sense when they need it, or it doesn't. Either help feels connected or it feels fragmented. Either someone stays with them across the gap or they are left to bridge that gap on their own. And when it is real, they can feel the difference, and your collaboration stops being branding. It is a cultural shift, and I, for one, welcome it. In Arizona, this cultural shift has been building since 2008 in this new field of service members, veterans, and their families. It's a new field, folks. No, it's not been done before. And it has produced the kind of outcomes no single one organization could create. In fiscal year 25, Be Connected served over 7,300 at-risk veterans, delivered over near 60,000 service encounters, and made 22,708 resource connections, and supported 2,728 direct VA linkages. Among high-risk veterans in their VA Fox grant, which we share with the Department of Veteran Services, but everybody participates in because I think we've received referrals from most everybody here, there have been 0 suicides. High-risk folks on the Columbia scale, 0 suicides. That's awesome, and that would not happen without us. And this particular program is making waves in DC. It has exceeded all other 80 grantees in outreach, referrals, screening, and eligible participants. Oh, and by the way, once again, 0 suicides. It had a huge impact on the drafters of this. Arizona veteran deaths by suicide also declined by 10% in 2023 and 10.5% in 2024. And this work continues to reach veterans not enrolled in the VA and connecting them with the VA, with state entities, with community entities. That's the key to all of this. This is not an abstract collaboration. This is real outreach, real navigation, real follow-through, real impact by real collaborators. That's you. But the most important proof point is not quantitative. It is a person's expression of what they experienced. As one veteran said, I was at the end. If it wasn't for Be Connected, I wouldn't be here. Remember, Be Connected is you and your organizations in collaboration with everyone else here and not here. That's the cool part. That's pretty cool. We collectively help this person who wouldn't otherwise be here. Anybody ever heard the phrase or said the phrase, I want to help just one? That's one. Do you want to see more? We got more. Look at this. This is a culture of collaboration, and these people are feeling it. They're feeling the experience of us collaborating. You want to see more? How about maybe a dash more? Do some more? Anybody more? Anybody more? Anybody want more? More. More for everybody. Everybody gets some. What does Oprah say? Right? Okay. And there are thousands of additional quotes like this that we have recorded over the years. That's the impact. That wouldn't happen if we weren't all working together. All right. That is the word. But are you ready for a big but? Anybody ready for a big but? No laughing? Real collaboration costs something. It makes us give up a little bit of our own comfort. It makes us give up a little bit of control. Anybody like control? A little bit of our turf, a little bit of certainty, and sometimes a little bit of the credit, so that together we can produce a better outcome. So maybe the question is not whether we believe in collaboration. Most of us do. The better question is whether we are willing to do what collaboration requires. It's a real question. I say again, collaboration is sharing responsibility for what people actually experience. My observation is that when we collaborate, people thrive. We are proud of the work with each of you, and we look forward to all the possibilities that we can create in 2027. Thank you very, very much. So I wanted to ask a couple of questions at this point. I'm going to answer them first, and then we're going to call on a few folks that are going to respond to it, and then we're going to have everybody talk to each other. Does that work? Or do you just want to keep listening to me? Anybody want to keep listening to me? Anyone at all? Thank you, Maureen. 1. Notice my children did not raise their hand. All right. So the very first question is, there was probably a moment you could have stepped away from this work. Why did you stay? And my answer to that is that I remember the futility when I was in practice, working in the hospital and justice systems and whatnot. I remember the futility of working with an individual, and the systems were larger hurdles than the issues they were dealing with. Oh man, that frustrated me. Second question is, what is one thing you wish someone told you when you started this work? I wish they had told me how immensely difficult and how wonderfully rewarding this work actually is. All right. Amanda, we got you? You are just right on the spot. All right. Hi, Mandy.
All
How are
right,
you?
well, a couple good questions, I think, and probably something that we've all experienced in our careers is, is there an opportunity to turn away? And I know as I'm looking at everybody in this room, we're serving the most important population, in my opinion, which is veterans. Having worked at the Department of Veterans Affairs for the last 20 years, as well as being the wife of an Army veteran, those motivate me, but that's not what gets me up every day to go to work and to serve veterans. It's each one of you who have served. And when I think about how hard things can get, and the stress that there is, every one of us get up and there's a sense of urgency. There's a sense of urgency in what we do because it's important, because what we do changes lives. And so when I get up and I know that it's going to be hard or I want to turn away, I think about the shoulders that I stand on for the freedoms that I have in this country. Being motivated by the veterans and the mission that we have is what gets me up every day and helps me to motivate my employees. When we're asking them to do more, to be more efficient, to serve veterans faster with higher quality, and to ask them to do just a little bit more, how do you motivate them to go from good to great? And it's by helping them really connect to the mission, connect to the veterans that we serve, and that's what we do in this room, and that's why the relationships that we have are so important. And that just really transitions me right into your second question, which is, what do I wish somebody would have told me? And I started at the VA right out of college, so I was young. I didn't know a lot of the business world or a lot of growing to do over the last 20 years. And I think that one thing that I wish somebody had said to me right off the bat was how much relationships outrank programs. It's so incredibly important to understand that there's forms, there are programs, there are resources, 700 and some here in Arizona, but if we can't connect them with people and connect them to veterans, then they're not doing their job. Working for the federal government, sometimes bureaucracy can get in the way. There's a lot of red tape. And you know what? My success, the success of the VA, is very much on the hands and feet of the community partners that we have to reach the four corners of our community and make sure that veterans know what benefits and services are available to them so that we can get to them fast, we can get to them before there's a problem. And so understanding that relationships, we have to have programs, we have to have policy, we have to have all those things, but it's the relationships that connect us to the veterans that we serve and that truly change lives and truly make an impact.
So the first question was about stepping away and why do you stay? And I think I would approach this in, I did.
And you're back.
I know. That's why I came back. Listen now, there are times, some of you may know I'm a retired VA psychiatrist and physician exec and stuff, and along the way as a provider, I think I'm going to start crying, when we lose a veteran, we do a lot of, internal soul searching. What could I have done? Did I fail? Whatever. And I think there are multiple times when I felt like I lost a veteran and I wish I could have done better. And so at times like that, you wonder, am I contributing? Am I doing the right thing? And yet it's really important to the families especially that you stay engaged with the family as well as the veteran because of the recovery that everybody needs. and the teamwork that you can have with the family in the process of dealing with the pain. The other part of why we sometimes leave things like this is conflicts in the team. And I remember early on when we were organizing how VA and Be Connected were going to work together, I remember one of our congressional staffers basically told me that I should reassign someone to a position that was not the purpose for which we received the funding. And I said, I can't do that. And at that point, I felt like I was voted off the island, so to speak. You remember. And it was a little bit tense, and I thought, well, you know, I've got to do what's right. I can't misappropriate funds, but let's figure out a way to do it. And the collaboration really helped that a lot. The other situation in which I felt the conflict is, I know we have staffers here. I had the incredible privilege to testify before Congress a number of times when I had a role in VA Central Office. And because of my role, I often had to attend and speak to the suicide prevention hearings that were annual. And at that point, I think the conflict between VA and Congress was really strong, and Congress was looking for someone to point blame at. And here I was, the official that was talking about suicide in VA, and so I was the likely target. And I remember getting this question so I testified after several families who had lost their loved ones to suicide, and I remember getting this question. It was unrelated to suicide, but it was a VA question, and I was asked, you just heard, it was a 5-minute kind of thing as Congress asked questions, but you just heard from these family members who lost their loved ones to suicide. Would you stake your life on something? And I remember just feeling paralyzed at the insensitivity of that kind of question at the time. And that's another time when I felt like, what is the futility in what we're doing if people don't understand that, you know, we're not going to use this as a way to kind of fight or disagree, but instead, can we collaborate? So that was the first question, and it's a long answer, I'm sorry. But and what's one thing someone told me when I started this work? You know, there's an expression, better to light one candle than curse the darkness. And I feel like that's something I've carried with me through my career, because you know, you have to keep your eyes on the prize, so to speak. I'm going to be saying all these silly comments, but sayings and so forth. But, you know, you really do need to keep your eyes focused forward. And so when I see data like you just presented, Thomas, about the effect of the impact of the people in this room and the organization, I'm just incredibly moved. And I feel like, you know, the candle's lit, and we just need to keep lighting more of them. So thank you.
All right. So I'm listening to my colleagues and their long statement. I usually make shorter statements. So I'm looking at the question, was there a moment you could have stepped away from this work? I retired from the military 19 years ago. So at that point, I could have stepped away and done something else, but I wanted to stay connected. I felt that need to stay connected. So coming to the VA wasn't something I really planned on. My background was aviation. I was a pilot in the Air Force. So how am I running a hospital? I don't know. It's a long journey. It took me 19 years, but that's what I'm doing. So, you know, I didn't step away, and, you know, sometimes I think, why didn't I do it? I come down to Phoenix. I have to drive down here for these meetings with Thomas. He always makes me wear a suit. And I know you all feel the pain because you listened to his jokes earlier, and I think, why didn't I step away? It's because of all of you. It's working together to make a difference for veterans in Northern Arizona. I think that's really the reason I stayed. In this role, my current role, I have the ability to really influence what's happening in Northern Arizona in the veteran space, at least with the VA umbrella, and then partnering with so many of the organizations that support veterans, working really closely. I see my buddy here, Brian Campbell, who is the director for U.S. Vets, up in northern Arizona. We're really, really excited about the work that they're doing and getting ready to open the big apartment complex that's going up 4 stories. It's ready for what, June, July timeframe? And that's a great way to work with veterans there. I see Bobby, and I know she was introduced earlier, so we've partnered really closely with the Navajo Nation, Hopi Nation, Colorado Indian River Tribe. Those are really meaningful things. And when we look at what was the one thing somebody wished that you would have told you before you started, and I was thinking about that, and then, when John Scott was talking, it came to me what it was. And John Scott said his plug to the Air Force, and I said, you're welcome, was about hotels. So having spent 23 years on active duty, I always wanted to stay in the best hotels. And I wish somebody would have told me in northern Arizona, there's not like a Ritz-Carlton, a Hilton, or a Marriott at every town that I have to go through across that 65,000 square mile catchment area. So unfortunately, they didn't do that. But one of the things that I think it's hard, and you don't realize this until you move into these roles, and Dr. McCarthy talked about it a little bit from a suicide perspective. I'm going to talk about it from being a director's perspective. Everybody's a critic, right? So everybody's a critic of what you do. You're not doing well enough. Why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? So that's hard, because you take those sometimes as personal attacks. So you got to be willing and learn to set that aside. They're not really mad at you. They're frustrated sometimes with the system. And that's where working together helps us navigate our veterans through that system. So you need to set those things aside. I meet with my staff on a monthly basis. I have a town hall that I do. So it's me and a microphone, just like this, and they ask me a bunch of questions. I never have an agenda. It's whatever questions that they want to ask. And sometimes they challenge me, and that's what I want them to do. And I've told them many, many, many times, I want them to know why I made a decision. I don't care if you like the decision I made. I make the decision because it's for our veterans. And that's been my focus. That's kind of the true north for me. That's worked well. And so that kind of answers that second question.
Introduce everyone to Ben. Ben has provided legal support for the coalition as a pro bono for many, many years, and we just really, we have loved your counsel, we have loved your support, your emotional support as well, during tough situations, and we just can't thank you enough for everything that you've done for us.
Oh, thank you, Thomas.
Yeah.
You stole my intro. That's how I was going to start. I will say, though, I think my kids are right.
Nate, we didn't coordinate, yeah.
My kids are right. My beard makes me look old. I think I might have to go back. But yeah, as Thomas said, I've served as sort of outside general counsel for ACMF for well over a decade. I was in private practice for 20 years. Myself and my team at 2 different law firms have supported the coalition as it's grown. And I stepped away from private practice almost exactly a year ago. I went in-house. In order to do that, I had to hand off my client base. The only client that I kept from private practice and that I continue to serve in a legal capacity is ACMF. So I think that goes to the answer to this question, why did I stay? To use one of Thomas's phrases, another word that's subject to semantic erosion right now is truth. Truth is under attack, I think, and when truth is eroded, I think integrity is also eroded underneath it, and then what further follows that down the drain is trust. But I have found the ACMF team, Thomas and Nicola, the staff over the course of well over a decade, are extremely high integrity people. They truly believe in the work. It is an honor to provide my expertise and services to the organization. I could not think about leaving them behind. So thank you very much. There's a second question was, what something I wish someone had told me? I think I had to audible that answer today because I just learned it. It's collaboration is shared responsibility for how other people experience our actions. I think through private practice, there's a tremendous amount of pressure, as you might expect, to bill every minute of the day, to make every minute of our day worth money to somebody else. So pro bono work is complicated and difficult, and I think it gets pushed to the side. You know, all of our state bars, they support us to do pro bono work, but in the thick of actual practice, it's very difficult to make time for it. So I'm trying to remember where I was going with that. So what happens is we end up participating in the work. So rather than being accountable for the service that we're providing to our pro bono clients, we end up merely participating in it. And I think it is very important that that the people that are providing legal expertise are actually finding themselves accountable for the work in this particular field. I'd also like to put in a good word for your legal departments and lawyers, because ACMF is such a high integrity organization. None of you know me. I work behind the scenes. I am very rarely exposed, and that's to their credit. But your legal departments probably do know me, and to them I apologize, and I thank you for your service as well. All of the lawyers, that's the other thing I learned, and that's what I was going to say before Thomas's new definition of collaboration for me, is that your legal counsel are also extremely high integrity people. Lawyers have a reputation for being dishonest. There are some unethical ones out there, but they are not in this room, and they do not work for you. The ones that work for you are extremely good people, and it's been a pleasure to work with them as well. Thank you.
All right, you are all wonderful. Thank you so much for everybody's participation in that. We really greatly appreciate it because I think it adds depth to the conversation. I'm going to encourage you to continue that conversation. Ask yourselves those two questions over the course of the next 2 days. They're critically important to the way that we think about why we're here and what are we doing. It goes to our own personal mission statement and a whole bunch of other really important things.